Yo, yo, yo. How we doing, guys? Good to see you. Welcome back to the afternoon, mid-morning stream. We're going to be playing KCD for about the next 5 hours straight. And I am very excited to do it. Because guess what? We are right at the beginning of a story mission. It is the dinner before we raid a castle. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So, yeah, it's going to be good. Ya says, Cohh, how did you like Civ 7? Civ 7 was not what I expected. And I think the best way I can say it is, in a lot of ways, and I have to be careful how I'm going to say this, because it's the very overt top level meta themes that I feel are tangent here. But in a lot of ways, I feel the same way about Civ 7 as I do about Dragon Age the Veilguard. And what I mean by that is, stay with me. What I mean by that is that the game started somewhere that I felt was like really solid, really good, lot of information, kind of made for nerds. And over time, what it became was a product that was clearly meant for a wider audience, not so much for the nerds, much more accessible, much more approachable. Everything is streamlined and simplistic. And I feel that that's what happened to Dragon Age of Veilguard in a lot of ways, especially when it comes to the writing and stuff and the narrative. But in Civ 7, I feel like it's a lot to do with like the mechanics and the UI and the feedback and things like that. Like it doesn't feel like a game made for nerds. It feels like a game made to be as pretty to as many people as possible. And the worst part about that, I would say, the part that most affects me is the part where a lot of that nerd stuff is why I loved the game. Like I loved all of the numbers and the feedback and feeling like I had my finger on every pulse in front of me. In Civ 7, I felt like I was constantly having to find the information I needed or ask chat about it instead of like having it there and accessible and right there. So yeah, that's what I thought about Civ 7. It was not quite what I expected. It was not really the direct. It's kind of weird because I feel like there's a dichotomy between the direction they're taking it and the core players that enjoy it. They're trying to generalize and make it more accessible, but the people that love the game are playing it for kind of the opposite reasons. So it seems a bit at odds with itself in a little ways. And I think there's room for like a more accessible, approachable Civilization 7 or Civilization game, but I think they have to build it on the nerd foundation. Don't change the whole game. Like make that big thorough foundation, make that big rich underbelly, and then find ways to make that more accessible to a wider audience. If that makes sense. I know that that's not the most eloquently put, but yeah, that's how I feel about it after 2 hours. And yeah, especially with the lack of turn summary, I don't think I'm going to return to it. I did take the sponsorship specifically to see if I wanted to maybe do some cozy streams of it or do that kind of stuff. But yeah, unless they put in a turn summary of some kind, I think honestly that's a deal breaker for me. That's a deal breaker for me. It's just, especially as the game goes on and on, I can't. I need more feedback. I don't know how else to say it. I need more feedback. When the game gets so complex, it needs tools to have you properly play it, and I just don't feel like it has the tools. So anyway, that's what I thought. That's that. And honestly, it's probably the last I'll save it. I'm very glad I tried it though, because a lot of people have asked me about it, and I like, now that we've tried it for a couple hours, I have like, here's what I think. So yeah, awesome. Anyway, real quick.
Enough with positivity. I want to let you know the negative impact you have had on my life. This morning my wife woke me up by turning on the bedroom light. Unknowingly I said, "Ah, the light," and now I am trying to show her and explain the video without looking bad. For shame.
Thank you. I absolutely love that, and it makes me proud that that's amazing. I hope you said it the same way that the guy in the video did too. That is absolutely incredible. I love it. Somebody earlier said, is nerd a derogatory term now? No. In fact, I always use the term nerd as an affirmation. Nerd stuff to me is stuff that is deep, that usually very passionate people are involved in. Life is short and the world does not have enough nerds in it. I feel like nerds are the people that make life interesting because they tend to hyper focus on something and figure everything out about it. And if a person does not have something they're nerding out about in their life, I feel like that's almost a piece missing from life. Like nerding out on something, like having that level of passion is a beautiful thing. So, and it's weird to think that people are born and die without ever experiencing something that makes them that interested. You know what I mean? So no, is nerd a derogatory term? The opposite. I wish everyone was a nerd about something. Doesn't even have to be stuff I'm interested in. Just that level of passion makes a person an interesting person to talk to. I would gladly talk to somebody who nerds out on something that I have zero interest in than somebody who has a passing interest in something I'm super nerding about myself. You know what I mean? Like it's a different feel. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Dude, good example. I even like sport. You find some sports nerds. I don't play sports. I don't watch sports, nothing. But there are sports nerds out there that know so much about whatever sport or team they're associated with that they just have interesting stuff to say. Like it doesn't matter if you're not interested in what they're talking about. They're so into it that it makes it interesting. You want to listen. So yeah, I love that stuff. Okay. I've been stalling enough. It's time. We just talked to a person here to catch you guys up. We're currently at a dinner the night before we're going to raid the castle in the south, which at the end of the stream yesterday we found has been taken over by bandits. So we're at the dinner the night before. We've already talked to the main guy. We're kind of schmoozing a bit. We also just found out that we're attacking them in the morning, which was a bit of a thing for us. So we're trying not to get too drunk. And the only thing we've done at the dinner so far is a guy here was making fun of the fact that Hans parlayed with the bandit leader that now we know is the bandit leader. And we played him in dice and won. And I think that was it. So now you're caught up.
What's wrong, Henry? Am I invisible or something?
I'm
Come on,
sorry.
Henry. You can have a drink afterwards.
Oh my God. Hi.
What is it? I thought a good old feast would cheer you up.
You call this a good feast? Nothing but puffed up peacocks sucking up to each other, pretending they don't smell of dung. And the Chamberlain. My God. I can't take another moment of that fool.
Sod the Chamberlain. He's a conceited idiot.
And how many battles has he won, eh?
You heard Lord
Oh,
von Burgos.
yeah. Another very important point you need to know if you were not here yesterday. When we attack this keep, the Burgow has basically put his Chamberlain in charge of the attack, who is an old guy, clearly doesn't have the experience. Like, this is going to go poorly. And on that note, we're now convinced that the blue dress girl is a spy and that she's going to just take all the information to them so they're going to know we're coming. This is going to end terribly. This is going to be
Trust
horrible.
him.
Yeah.
Ulrich is a master of the quill, that's all.
Oh, man.
By the way, thanks for standing up for me.
You're welcome. I definitely trust you more in battle than him.
When push comes to shove, I won't be paying much heed to that buffoon's orders.
I get that, but you gave von Burgov your word as a knight that you'd help him. That band of cutthroats killed our men as well. And we don't have a chance against them on our own.
Oh, maybe... You know what? I've had enough. I'm going to bed. But don't you forget to stop by the smithy for my sword and armour. And fetch some wine from Catherine.
Uh-oh.
If you want my advice, try not to get too shit-faced. We've got a battle to fight tomorrow.
Don't worry.
I know, I really dressed
I'll
up for
take
the
care.
party. I
All
won't
right.
make that mistake again. Spoilers,
Good night,
he does.
then,
He
Henry.
does. He does make that mistake again. Okay. So Capon's heading to bed. We're going to talk
Hey
to...
there, my friend. Got a moment?
Sure.
We have a poet among us, eh?
Me, a poet. I leave that sort of thing to Florian there. Women swoon in his arms, and then men swoon in exasperation. There's a poetic soul for you, if only his verses were any good.
Another good thing to mention. Thank you. The very best for this. So another thing that happened, and this is kind of interesting because we swung the pendulum both ways. So we mentioned to Burgow that when he asked us, do you think any events in the area could be related to the South Fortress? We told him, in fact, I reloaded the game to tell him that we noticed that the groom from Samin left his wedding on the wedding night to go somewhere. So we had planted that seed. Then later, when we were torturing an informant, when we were talking to an informant that was in the dungeon, he mentioned in the dungeon that the person that was kind of doing all of this is the groom, is the guy from Samin. So at that point, I was like, oh shit. We need to go talk to the old guy that we did a bunch of quests with. He seemed like a cool dude. We need to talk to him and figure out if he knows, like, what's going on. Because we also know that whatever Olda was doing, the groom, he was being very cutthroat about it. He was being very covert. Like, he was talking to people off to the side, and it seemed like he wasn't talking to any big names, just hired hands and stuff. But so in my mind, I said, I need to talk to the old guy. So we went back and talked to Burgow, and then we had to pass like a super hard speech check to convince him that we were not going to turn in Olda. Basically, we decided not to tell Burgow that Olda was involved. And then when Burgow said, wait a second, didn't you mention Olda? We passed a speech check throwing him off of it. So we ended up not telling Burgow about Lord Samin's son leaving. Now, the next thing for me, I thought, is awesome. Let's go talk to Lord Samin and we can figure out what's going on and keep going. He won't talk to us. So that was a little disappointing because that was kind of like my plan. my plan was to not turn him in and then go talk to Lord Samin about the fact that we didn't turn him in, but we aren't able to do that. So, excuse me, as Mattercott has pointed out, we can't do that yet. So I'm hoping that there's going to be a chance that we can do this because, and also one final thing I'm going to mention. The reason that I really decided to do all this is because while we were interrogating the prisoner, his perspective, his perception of the events were that he was a good guy fighting the good fight for a good cause. Like, he was calling us traitors and saying all these like words where he was like, he didn't see us as bandits. He didn't attack us for our money. Like, he thought he was doing the world a service taking us out, which makes me even more want to figure out what side Olda's fighting for before we turn him in. Because now I don't even know, like, who's his liege? Like, what's he doing? So I'm very interested in how that whole thing works. So I'm hoping we're going to get more. Whoa. I'm hoping we're going to get more of that. Siri time. Be nice, please. Dandy, you okay? And Siri just gave Dandy like a combo. Oh, Lord. Okay. You have a quarrel with Florian?
Seems Florian makes your blood boil, eh?
Aye, he's too big for his boots. He needs to be taught a lesson. But I'll pay him back for his jokes soon enough.
Dunk.
Tell me more. I'll be glad to help you.
Excellent. I need to get Florian back for one of his jokes. It should hurt him a little.
Oh, buddy. Saint, come on, bud. Can't be saying that kind of stuff, man. Not until we're done with ours, you know? Thank you. Jackie Codes, thank you so much for the raid subs. Flood this channel with hearts. Show these raiders we will take any guff from these swine. Thank you very much for joining us. Very much appreciate it, guys. Welcome to you. And thank you very much, Jackie Codes, for the raid. Thank you, thank you. We'll do a shout out here in just a minute. What did he do to you?
What did he do to you?
He persuaded a certain damsel to let him dress up in her clothes. When I sang beneath her window one evening, they all thought it was hilarious.
That is kind of hilarious.
And that twit threw lilacs down to me from the window.
How awful.
After we laughed about it. I love it.
How do you want to get your revenge? Challenge him to a duel?
Nothing of the sort. No violence. We'll just make fun of him a little. I know that one damsel gave him a ring.
Actual picture of
and
the
it'd
flute
be
players.
interesting to slip the ring to her best friend.
You want me to bring you Florian's ring?
That sounds like a pretty cruel joke. But I'll be happy to help. Where can I find the ring?
He's bound to have it in the chest next to his bed at the very top of Crone Tower.
Ah, now I see why you don't fancy going there.
Well, the most important thing is that everyone sees I'm here, but nobody will notice if you
Oh,
leave.
perfect, Suzu.
All
Thank
you
you.
have to do is bring it to me unobserved. I'll take care of the rest.
Exiled with a $10 tip.
Cohh, this game is so exceptional. Additionally, the payoff from playing KCD1 and seeing things come to fruition in KCD2 makes this otherworldly.
Agreed.
Also, I have to leave, spoils.
I get it. Oh,
Mod love.
hopefully I caught you before you left. But regardless, thank you so much, Exiled. Appreciate you tipping the mod team. The best to you. And thank you, buddy. Then we also went from Blackwater, too.
Super Chat. Medieval European politics is insane, man. KCD2 gives you a pretty good insight on what happened, although it barely scratches the surface of it.
Yeah.
Grin.
I guess we'll just have to see if KCD 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, or 12 covers that. Yeah. Can't wait. Looking forward to it. Warhorse. Thank you. How do you tip the mods? All tips go to the mod team here on this channel. So if you look in my profile, there's a button that says tip. If you tip that link, that automatically, it doesn't even go to me. It goes to a system that splits it across the active general mod team. Yep. Okay. Let's go.
I'm sorry.
Whoa.
Have you got a moment? I've heard you're a local hero.
Okay. Hi.
I'm sorry, I don't know your name, my lady.
This is Johanka of Zhernov, Henry.
Pleased to meet you. I'm...
I know who you are. My companions here talked about you. And the stories were somewhat madcap, if you don't mind me saying so.
nothing more than a couple of silly misunderstandings.
Down, hippie.
On the stocks and the gallows. Quite a nice series of misunderstandings, if you ask me.
Your life was on the line more than once, young man.
You're right, Father. And not just my life, Lord Capon's as well.
Well, that sounds interesting.
I love that we're doing this like
Will
bloody
you
and
tell me
covered in dirt.
about it? I'd love to hear about adventures right from their hero himself.
I'll be glad to tell you my story. Where to begin?
The best place to begin is at the beginning, isn't it?
You're right, of course. That would be best.
So my da saw my ma from across the bar. All right, let's see.
It all began one lovely day when we'd been on the road for ages. It's a long way from our home in Ratai. So we made camp by a pond to bathe a bit before presenting ourselves to the local lord. We didn't have time for that, because a band of cutthroats suddenly attacked us. They killed without mercy. And our men had no chance against them. We had no choice but to jump into the water and swim for our lives. I still don't know how I didn't drown. I can't swim, you see.
Truly divine intervention, my son. God clearly wanted you to be saved.
Truly shocking and terrifying. Tell me, what awful thing happened next?
Oh no.
Tell him to talk to her last. She ends the night.
Good show.
Thanks, Henry. Oh, dude. Okay. Well,
It was a bloodbath, my lady. Then they followed us into the rocks and chased
Oh, you
us
get an
through
option
that
at the end. Okay,
labyrinth
thank
like
you.
rabbits. I thought we were done for. There was no way out. Nothing around but rocks and pitch black night.
I see your lives really were in danger. You are truly brave.
We were saved by a good-hearted old woman. But later, we got involved in a tavern brawl. Well, the brawl was started by my Lord Capon, actually. Manual labor would have been too humiliating for him, you see. Even more humiliating than having the local guards pour, slops over us, it would seem.
No, that is truly awful.
But it's true. Everyone thought we were stinking vagabonds, which led to a whole misunderstanding.
Bailiff Thrush put them in the stocks.
Yeah, like I said, they took us for ragamuffins.
Fair enough. But out with it now. Why did they punish you?
I admit the bailiff was right to punish us. But we would have won the brawl otherwise, my lady.
Excellent. I think people are wrong about you. You're a sincere and brave young man, Henry.
And rather entertaining company.
Yes, I agree. It's a pity my good friend didn't hear your story. She would have been very interested.
Who do you mean, my lady?
Unfortunately, she just went outside to get some fresh air. But the easiest way to put that right would be to go and find her. Would you escort me, Sir Knight?
I'm sorry. Maybe a little later, my lady.
A pity, Sir Knight. It's a little stuffy in here, and I could do with a short walk.
Okay, good. So what's hilarious is the guy earlier, Revan, was like, tell him not to talk to her last. She ends the night. Hey, Revan, what did you do at the end of that conversation? Okay. Smile. Let's see. We're good here.
Every comedy has to begin with a bitter seed
Watch
if
Florian.
the fruits of laughter are to be reaped at the end. As if women don't know.
Oh, what's up, man?
So, how are you enjoying the feast?
How are
Good
you,
to
dude?
see you. At least I know one person here. I wouldn't mind a few more feasts like this now and then. Have you tasted the Hungarian wine?
I remain on duty, so
Aw.
I can't. But when I see how the others are enjoying it, sakra, I
Revan.
miss Prague.
You're a regular martyr, but we're in the same boat. My lord also told me not to drink.
Juicebox with the 25. Thank you very much, dude. I really appreciate that. Thank you for the tip to the mod team. And then very shortly after him, we had GJ Hill 101 with the $20 tip to the mods. Thank you for that. I
WCO,
appreciate that
W
too.
Mods, W Game, and LT, free.
And then while that was playing, Skyrider1 with the $50 tip to the mod team.
Thanks to the mod team for helping keep chat all proper, smiley face.
Why, thank you, dude. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much for supporting our team here. Really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. That is awesome. All right, let's go through all these.
What was von Berghoff doing in Prague?
He's the royal chamberlain, so he's in charge of collecting taxes from royal towns and monasteries. And he was negotiating with the League of Lords as well, of course.
What? He promised he'd support the proposal of Hanna Shableipa.
Maybe, but he can hardly call off negotiations with Rosenberg and the other powerful lords. Politics isn't blind man's buff. Besides, you only gave him the message after he came back.
Yeah, I was
from
going to
Prague,
say.
didn't you?
Now, hold on. I'm a little confused here. From what we understood, Burgow was with the League of Lords anyway, and the only reason he would even entertain doing otherwise is because me and Hans showed up with the letter. So, why is... Didn't we already know that Burgow was with the League of Lords? So it's totally normal that he'd be doing that. Basically says, yeah, that dialogue was a bit weird. Okay. Henry acted like it was a surprise, but it's like, what else would he be doing? Okay. What were the negotiations with the League of Lords about?
Do you know what the negotiations in Prague were about?
No, because I'm not a spy.
But personal bodyguards often hear all kinds of things, don't they?
Well, Hohenstein and Riesenberg are quarreling over some...
I love how the dude was like, I'm not a spy. And then Henry was like, no, tell me what you actually heard. And he's like, okay, here's the tea.
nonsense in Saxony. Lichtenberg is trying to play both sides, and the mighty Rosenberg is scheming against everyone. Aye, and Bocek of Kunstadt is looking for a husband for his niece, Yitka. She's pretty, so it won't take long.
I thought the League of Lords was supposed to be united.
What? Then? No chance. Having too many roosters in the yard always ends badly.
Huh. What do you know about the attack on Nebukov?
Have you heard the plan of attack?
No. Ulrich is keeping it all close to his chest.
Not that there's any point.
I noticed that your lord isn't too fond of the Chamberlain.
That's one way of putting it.
Sir Otto respects him, and I trust him. But it's true, Ulrich is a bit strange.
He's a conceited fool, you mean?
If it's glory that you seek, you cannot be shy and meek.
You know the other guests?
Do you know the other guests?
They're noblemen from these parts, but I don't know them personally. That cheerful little fellow in the middle is Herman Palitz, known as Littlehead. Pity you didn't see his performance on the barrel. Thankfully, the barrel gave way before Littlehead.
And the other one? The thin one?
Florian of Lomnitz, a famed wit, fair of face and well-spoken. The ladies swoon. For all he could care, well, we'll see what kind of company he prefers in the end.
What about the local girls?
What about you and the local women folk? Got your eye on anyone?
Come off it. I'd have to stand in line behind Herman and his ilk. I'd rather have a drink with you.
Wait a second. This is a love option, isn't it? But why doesn't it have the little love thing? That's weird. Yeah, that's a love option. Okay.
I never say no to a pretty woman.
As you wish, but don't overdo it with the wine. It goes to your head. Some men drink, others play, still others sin their days away.
Very true.
You should be ashamed, Florian.
Oh, that's not the actual love option. It's the one before. It's a step before. Okay. Cool.
Florian, honorable.
Maybe a dreadful butcher.
It's kind of funny. This game got so much flack because of people saying that there was gay stuff in it. And every single bit of that I've gotten to, I've just been like, no, just kept going. And it's fine. It's just like, maybe just don't play that way then. And it's fine. Okay. Cool.
You must be Henry,
I am,
yes?
hi.
Lord Capon's servant.
Pleased to meet you. But who do
He's
I have the honor of
21.
talking to,
Nice.
gentlemen? Seems you already know my name.
Aye, we heard something about you.
Aye. Mainly about your brushes
Although
with
to be
the
fair,
law.
I have been warned that there's apparently some nudity later. So we'll have to see.
Truly amusing.
May have to say
escapades.
sword fight.
If what they say is true.
We had a couple of misfortunes.
Well, we had a couple of misfortunes, but I don't know what you heard.
Only that the village
It's not that bad?
yokels
Yeah, I know.
Took you for
That's what I heard
beggars
too.
And
Heard it's not
clapped
bad.
you in the stocks.
Well, after you'd beaten up a couple of them, including the local bailiff's son.
Well, as I said, we had a couple of misfortunes.
Of course. No offense intended. We're glad to meet
I like
you.
his hat.
My name is Old Brown.
I think it's one of the best you can get
Yeshek
right
of
now.
Boar.
Any news?
Any news, gentlemen?
Yes. We were just talking about the finger of God.
What's that? Some book?
Nobody knows, but the name is truly odd, isn't it? Apparently Sir Otto paid a fortune for this finger in Prague.
Sounds like some holy relic, doesn't it?
Aye. But it occurred to Albram that it might be some new castle bell.
I heard him telling Chaplain Nicodemus that the castle needs a new bell. Throwing around coin like that when there's a war on is a sin, I tell you.
But our Sir Otto has deep pockets, and the war hasn't changed that. Quite the opposite, if anything.
Aye, once you get involved in politics in Prague, the coin comes rolling in. You and Lord Capon are here on political business, aren't you? You're envoys of Hanush of Lipa, and the king's favourite, Radzig Kobyla, right?
I don't know these guys. But I mean, I'm gonna say yes because like he pretty much guessed exactly what we are. So it's like at this point.
Yes. We brought a message from Sir Hanush
Yeah.
and Margrave Jobst. Now we're just waiting for
Has there been
Lord
nudity in the
von
game?
Bergov's
Oh, yeah.
reply.
What does
There has not only been boobs, but we have not taken many opportunity for boobs as well. So yeah, there's absolutely nudity in the game. Yeah.
Grave Jobst want?
To
And
end the
butts.
war, I think.
Well, well. Jobst himself wants to make peace with
Lots
the
of
League
butts.
of Lords.
Aye. And free our king from captivity.
Interesting. Yet it was him who was at war with Wenceslav.
Wait a
just
second. Did
year
we just
ago.
did we just volunteer significantly more information than the stuff he confirmed? Did we just tell him about Margraves? We did. Oh. Okay. Well, we're gonna go with this for now.
What about tomorrow? Will you join us in the attack?
Of course. I've brought so many men we could take the bark off on our own.
I hope you'll leave room for us as well.
Sorry. I that. I'm sorry.
I'm at your service, sir.
I didn't mean to give him that much info.
Excuse me.
I'd like to have a bit of discord.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
This is...
Please.
I know.
Do this again real quick.
You're right.
What?
I think we were like 2 conversations away, so
The
should be pretty quick.
It's a long... We didn't have... They kid. We had no...
Truly
I thought we were... Well, even more. But it's true.
bailiff.
Yeah, like...
fair and
And rather...
yeah.
Who'd-
Unfairly, would you?
It's like a rap song.
I'm sorry.
A pity.
Okay.